now and evermore. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that feels good.
Yeah. Oh, it's always this simple, isn't it? That feels good now, and that will keep everyone happy. Oh, no, I've got to copied and paste the wrong chorus. There it is. Classic. The guitar sounds awesome, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. It doesn't even work.
Who's gonna win?
The vibe is incredible. You're in the middle of nowhere. You just feel like you can escape the world. For this album in particular, I probably wrote 40 songs. So Joe and Dan Weller, my producer, they've had to sift through a lot of demos to get to the final ones that we picked.
It's deep in the countryside, it's very kind of organic, everything's creaky. It's a really great place to make music with Elles, and we loved it last time, so that was the first thing that we decided to do, was to come back here.
There's no destination, only dreams to realize. I choose my own direction, and I drive with a top down wind in my head.
Dan produced Shining in the Half-Light. It was such a wonderful experience working with him from start to finish, and I just really wanted to do that again. He is so involved in every aspect of the albums and is just genuinely such a joyful experience. He's in every single note of what they're doing, and then sort of being like, that was great, that wasn't so good. Actually, Matt, if you just change like a kick pattern, and it's just way beyond anything that I could ever do, and that's why it's really important for me to have someone like Dan. It's very easy to get caught up with minor details when you're actually in it and you're recording it, but having someone who steps away from the music and helps put it all together, that's Dan.
Burn, 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 burn. Let it burn, 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 burn.
I love to record completely live with the band all playing together, and this is just the perfect place for that. We also record live to tape.
We're tracking it all to tape, but we can do any tweaks or comping digitally with the recorded tracks via Pro Tools. Got kind of a hybrid setup, which is a bit complicated, but it covers all bases.
You know, I've built my career on going out and playing these songs live, and so as much as I can capture that on tape, that's exactly what we do. There's not many studios where you can do that, and Middle Farm is definitely one of those. It's very much geared in being analogue and of the sound that I like to create.
So Elles is written with loads of different people. She's got loads of different flavours in, and it became apparent to me that the demos were a little more, I don't know whether they were heartfelt or more like kind of storytelling than the last record. So we felt like it kind of triggered us to feel like we could maybe take a slightly different direction musically, and I wanted to hear a lot more piano, which Elles did too. So there's a lot more, I would say, sad stuff. There's a lot more kind of stuff really from the heart, but there's also a lot of cinematic stuff where you can really kind of follow the story, like chronologically, if you like, through the song. And I absolutely love it. I think it's a better album already. I'm really excited, and in fact the band, I think, are playing better than ever as well.
I take you there on the vinyl, slow dance to get high on, where the only distraction is looking at you.
On the drums, I have Matthew Jones. He's been playing with me since 2017, touring with me. Not only is he just the most wonderful drummer, he is an insanely wonderful human to be around, and that's so important when you're making music together. You spend about 5% of the time making music and the rest of the time traveling together, and he's always someone you want to hang with. On the bass, we have the incredibly soulful Matthew Ware, and he's been touring with me since 2019, and just everything he plays is beautiful, and it's just a joy to share the stage with him. On Hammond organ, on whirly and on piano is Johnny Henderson. He's been with me since 2016. So we've been working together for quite a long time throughout this project. But for this record, although he's always on the B3 with me live, we really wanted to get him on different instruments. And so this time around there is a lot of piano, and as you can see, I've got this beautiful Steinway behind me. It's just brought a whole different colour and tone and texture to this album, and something that I've not really explored before, despite myself being a pianist and a lot of the songs being written on piano. And then on guitar, he's been with me for 9.5 years, and it's Joe Wilkins. So he's basically been with me from the beginning of touring and the beginning of this Elles Bailey project. He's played on a lot of the albums that I've made and a lot of the songs that I've made. Joe is really known for his slide guitar, especially in my project. But to mix it up a bit, we've spent a lot of time with Joe on the acoustic, and he's such a fine acoustic player as well. So this adding, again, just different sounds to this album that is going to make it different from the Elles Bailey records that you've heard before. Joe has been a huge part of creating the sound of Elles Bailey, and I really wanted to get him involved right from the beginning down to choosing the songs on this record. It's been really great having other people involved with picking the songs, because it's having other people's ideas and what they think that those songs could bring to the album. And there's definitely been 2 or 3 that I would not have picked, and they've been like, yeah, like, we've certainly got to do those. I'm so glad it's brought these songs to life in a way that I could never have imagined. Ballad of a Broken Dream.
Terrified she'd lose it all to the needle and the nail.
Is an incredibly special song to me, and actually I wrote it in 2019, and I didn't even bring it to Dan when we were picking songs for Shining in the Half-Light. And then when I brought it to him for this record, I kind of dismissed it straight away. I just put it and was like, we're not going to do this one. And both Joe and Dan were 100% like, nope, we have to do this song. And it's brought this song that, has been in my pocket for a really long time. It's just brought a totally new lease of life to it, and I'm now very excited to share that song in a way I never thought I would be.
And the ones who choked on all his smoke feel the burden.
Previously, when writing for earlier albums, for me, lyrics were always king, and I'd always put so much effort into making sure that the lyrics were perfect. But when it came to writing this album, not only did I want to put everything I could into telling the story exactly how I wanted to and making sure that the lyrics were absolutely perfect, but I've really worked on my melody as well, and writing catchier melodies, and also just stretching my vocals as well and seeing what my voice can do melodically as well as lyrically. So I really feel like I've stretched myself when I've been songwriting for this album. This is my 4th studio album, and this is the first time that I've ever gone back to the same studio with exactly the same players, with the same producer and the same engineers as well. But what was really important to me is I didn't want to go and just make the same album. I don't feel like I'm rooted in one genre. I've always explored different genres. You could call me genre fluid. And, I never want to go and just make the same thing twice. But I did really, really want to come back here with the same team and see what we could do for this next album.
It's 1972. Like it's 1972.